Here it is. Got all of the front done, and I started on the stars. I'm really happy with the pattern, so I will show you step by step how I did those. Okay, for the star we're going to start right here, and I did a magic ring with 5 single crochets in it. On the pattern she starts it with a chain. You can do it either way. I like this way. You can close that hole up nice and tight. It looks really nice and neat. I had to be a little mindful of my tension. We're going to chain 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Because you want to be able to get your hook in but not make the star so that it's very big. You want to have it kind of on the smaller side. Could use a smaller crochet hook, but I felt this was working all right. So in the second chain from the hook, not the one you're coming out of, but the next one down, you're going to do a slip stitch, and that's what makes your point on your star, is the slip stitch. And then the last available one on that row, you're going to do a single crochet. And then you will slip stitch into the next stitch that you had available on your magic ring. And then you do the process over again. 1, 2, chain 3, and then what is considered the second one from your hook, you're going to put your hook in, and you're going to slip stitch to make your point of your star. And then the next one down, the last one you have available, you're going to make a single crochet, and then slip stitch into the next available stitch on your magic ring. There we have 2. So we're going to start the process again. 1, 2, chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch, and then single crochet. And then another slip stitch to hold that onto the main part of your star. 1, 2, 3. Again, repeat that process. We have 3. We need 2 more. Here we go. Slip stitch to the second. Single crochet into the last. Slip stitch into the main magic circle. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch, single crochet, so this is my last one, and here's my last stitch right here. Slip stitch into that, and I have myself a cute, adorable little star that is actually quite fun to make. And there you have it. So you need to make 9 of those. Not hard, really kind of fun to do. And then we'll come back and we'll sew them onto our flag. Okay, I got my first star stitched on. I'm going to try to show you a little bit of how I'm doing this. I know it's probably a little difficult to see, but I've got some stitch markers holding them all in place so that you don't have to keep moving them around, although you want to adjust them a little bit here and there. But it seems to be working well with the stitch markers. And what I'm doing is the tails that were left, all the other tails are woven in, but this one I kept from each of them from the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to the blue first and grabbing a stitch underneath there, and that is really hidden so you don't see any big stitches or anything. And then once I'm in the blue, I'm going like midway up the point of the star and just grabbing a little bit from the back there. And then I'm making sure I go into the very tip of the star because I want to make sure that they lay nice and flat. So I'm just taking one from the end of the star and then going back down into the blue, someplace underneath that's going to take me to the next point of the star. Don't pull on them too tight. You don't want to have that kind of bumpy. You want to have a nice flat look to that. So that seems to be coming out good. And then I'm in the blue again, so I'm going to go midway up again behind this point of the star. Just taking a small stitch at a time. And once I'm into the white, the next place I'm going to go is back to the blue. So I'm going to go back to this blue here, midway underneath, and keep that laying how I like it. And then now that I'm in the blue, I can go back to the very corner of this one right here, grab a stitch, pull that through, and I'm going to repeat that process. I'm going to go back down to my blue, heading towards the next point of the star, making sure I'm in back so none of my stitches are showing. Pull that so it's fairly even, you don't want it too tight. And then I'm down in the blue, I'm going to go midway up that end, back for a tiny stitch in the blue so I can get the point of that star. It doesn't have to be right on the point, but I try to get it kind of close, otherwise that's going to curl a little bit, and I really want this to lay nice and flat. So there, that looks like it's going to lay nice and flat. So I'm going to continue on and do all my other stars, and I will meet you back here. Okay, this is where I'm at. I've got the back done, 26 rows. That was actually very relaxing to do. So 40 stitches across and 26 rows. And this top is finished. I sewed on all of the stars. It took a little bit of time, tried to be careful so I would have nice points showing. I do recommend that you leave yourself at least about 8 inches of yarn to get those on there with. It does take a little bit to get around the star. And I didn't do a lot, but I made sure to do halfway up one of the parts of the star and then a little stitch at the end, so they're laying nice and flat. I'm very happy with that. So I am ready now to put this together, and her instructions does say to whip stitch it together. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I may try to do a single crochet just to see how it looks, but I think I'm going to go with doing red around this part and then blue around here. I'm not sure about that. I want it to come out really nice, so I'm going to take a little bit of time to figure out what I'm going to do to make this look as best as I can. I'll probably look for some other pictures online too to see, you know, if there's any other options out there that look really nice and neat. So I'd like to get that done. I also made my casing already. I had some white fabric left, so I made myself a small casing. Sewed all around it, started here, went around, just left a little opening here at the bottom so I can stuff it. So we'll see how that looks when we get that all stuffed and ready to go. But for now, we'll stop right there, and I will decide how I'm going to do the edging, and I'll let you know what looks best. I really like the blanket stitch. It really made a nice look on it. Right here I'm going to switch back over to the red around this section. I did it in blue. The rest of the pillow's done in red. I have my pillow form tucked in, my handmade pillow form, just white fabric, and just cut to size. Came out really perfect. I thought it was a nice lightweight fabric, so it worked really well. So I clipped all around here. It was really helping me out not to have bunches of fabric on different spots. So clipping is a really good idea. For the first stitch, and I only took one stitch, you only go into the front stitch. So it would be the red stitch in my case. Got some thread here. And put a good sized knot at the end of your yarn and tuck that down inside. Then you are going to take your needle, go back in through the blue, just one stitch at the top, and come back through that same hole that you just went through. This is what you're going to do for the first stitch. And then once you get your loop, you're going to put your needle through that and pull it down. That makes it nice and secure. Then you're going to come in one stitch under in the blue, go through the red, one stitch under. Now I want to be like about one stitch apart, was what I was trying for. And then through your loop and pull it tight. Do that again, one stitch over, and I'm going to go make sure I catch the whole top loop on that last row on the blue, and then put your needle through the loop and pull it tight. And you can, decide how you want it. If you want it a little bit closer, a little bit further away. I like to have it fairly close, so I make sure that I don't have anything popping out. Generally, this time I won't have to worry about that with my nice little casing. But it does make a really nice, secure finish. Just keep looking in the back. Make sure you're being mindful of catching that entire top stitch and going underneath your entire top stitch on your red. Go back through and pull it tight. And there you have it. It's all finished. I just knotted at the end and just weave through your extra yarn so it'll stay nice and secure. Really turned out great. It's really a great pillow size. It would make a great lumbar pillow. If you know somebody that's looking for a lumbar pillow to put on their chair when they're watching TV, maybe an older person would like to have one of those, it is the perfect size for that. So I do highly recommend it, and you could, alternate your colors and make it into any other design that you'd like. So I really highly recommend that pattern, and I hope you'll give it a try.